Hi everybody, welcome to Crypto House. So today we're going to have an interview with Humaniq, and I am today with Anton. Anton, say hi. Yes. Maybe before we start with the interview, if you can tell us who is Anton and what's your position in the company.
Sure. So, hey everyone. As you guys heard, my name is Anton Mozgovoy. So I'm the CTO here in Humaniq. So what I do is that I'm responsible for all technical challenges and all technical development here in Humaniq. So everything starting from blockchain app to our core platform and obviously biometrics. So there's under my responsibility. So originally I come from banking experience. That's the industry where I first started and that's where I spent the most of my career. I've been working at Canadian Bank, Bank of Montreal, and from there I started my journey here in Humaniq.
Okay, good. So I have seen on your website the slogan is empowering the unbanked. So it's a very nice statement indeed. So can you tell us in 2 minutes what is Humaniq and what are the problems you are trying to solve?
Sure. So when we explain about Humaniq and then when we tell what exactly we're doing, so we do two things. We provide financial and then we provide social services for those who are really considered to be unbanked. Now, what does it mean? Now, according to the World Bank, there are more than 2 billion people that are considered to be financially excluded from the global ecosystem. So those are people who don't have government IDs, for those people who don't have bank accounts, and then for those people who don't have secure and private communication. So those people are considered to be unbanked. That's the entire term. Now, so what do we do for those people who don't have government IDs? We create digital identities, right? For those people who don't have bank accounts, we create crypto wallets. For those people who don't have access to private communication, well, we provide free, right, and secure chat services.
Okay, good. When did you start this project? Is it brand new or it has already some years or months on the road?
Sure. So the project itself started a year ago. It all started with our co-founder Alex Forks, who visited India and Africa, and then he himself he was experiencing that entire problem that was out there was still flying, and he was shocked that yet still in 2017 the problem of the financial inclusion is still growing, and people are still experiencing this issue. So that's when the entire idea of the project kickstarted.
I read the website. I read also the white paper. So there are few components in the project. So there is of course a blockchain with a token. You have the app. You have the backend. Can you tell us a little bit more how it's organized and how it works?
Sure. So I'm going to start with so-called proof of human consensus algorithm. So what does it mean? It means that now every single human being is entitled to receive a predefined set of tokens, so HMQ tokens for free. So it means that every single person on the planet can get and can claim the tokens that belong to them. Now, so how do we do that? As I mentioned earlier, we create digital identities for everyone who joins the platform. So it means that with the help of biometrics, right? So that's face recognition. Now we are able to determine the uniqueness of the person. So as you know, obviously our faces are unique, right? And it means that we can actually, combining with a set of different data sources, we can create unique digital identities. Now, in terms of the blockchain, now, why do we use blockchain? What is it here for? So number one, as I've mentioned, first of all, we're starting with egalitarian emission model, right? So how do we mint and how do we emit HMQ tokens? So in order to keep that process transparent, free, and obviously simple in terms of what logic is used, right? And then what logic we're implementing and what updates and what changes are out there, the easiest and the most secure way is obviously blockchain technology. Number two is that we're also offering crypto wallet services, but currently, and especially during the peak crisis in summer 2017, people were experiencing extremely insane large commission fees. So for example, in Bitcoin blockchain, the fees were around $50. In Ethereum blockchain, fees could be up to $1.50. Now, when we're talking about financial inclusion, that's something that it's impossible to talk when the fees are so high. So we were working on our hybrid blockchain, where the commission fees would be lowered pretty much to zero, right?
Okay.
So when we're talking about the app is the final product that we distribute to the users, right? And there's the entire platform that supports that application. And that platform consists of many utilities, as I've mentioned, biometrics, blockchain, open APIs. So pretty much the platform is out there to deliver the app, and that's something that people use.
Okay. So you talk about biometric. I guess so. In Europe, in United States, we have iPhone 6, 7, 8, and so they have very good cameras. If you are in underdeveloped country, I guess smartphones, the cameras are not as good. So what kind of challenge did you encounter regarding biometric?
That's indeed a very nice question. So biometrics itself is a very new technology in a sense that computer vision has been out there for years, but the quality that we're fighting for was never out there and it was never delivered. So what happens is that when we started, we're experiencing three issues. So issue number one, it was first of all the quality of the image. So you're totally correct. When we're talking about low cost phones, especially the front camera or even the back camera, is a very, very poor quality. So the quality, the original quality of the picture itself is very low. So number two, we're also talking about the diversity of the users that we are onboarding, right? So in here, we obviously know that in order to be able to recognize faces, well, we have to know how to recognize them. So creating different patterns for different skin colors, skin types, for different users, now that's also been an issue. So because again, as we mentioned, Humaniq has no limits, no borders, so we want to onboard everyone. And then the issue number three is lighting itself. So we're talking about the composition, right, of your of the picture that you're taking. But we're talking about the lighting is that whenever you are, whenever it's a daylight, you're out there on the street, you have enough lighting, right? And then our recognition services are able to clearly distinguish the patterns of your face, right? So we can clearly see the shape, we can see where it ends and where it finishes, this sort of thing. However, whenever there's not enough lighting out there in the room, whenever it's evening time, whenever it's nighttime, now it becomes harder to identify, the face itself. So those are three major issues that we've been always fighting and tackling. Those three major issues at different points are still out there, and that is why we're part of Biometrics Institute. So that is why there's a set of companies that are working, to tackle specific issues that I just mentioned.
So how do you do in terms of adoption of the solution? Because you have the end user. I have seen also that you are trying to onboard some companies. What is your strategy on that?
Right. That's another good question of yours. So as you mentioned, right, so we operate as a platform. It means that we have the business side and then we have the customer side. So the customer side are the end users who we onboard on the platform. Now the businesses are the startups, the services, or even again, the end clients that provide some services on the platform. So our strategy is actually onboarding two at the same time. What it means is that while we are onboarding our users, end users, we're also expanding the list of the functionality of the additional services that we have on the platform. So whether it is online courses, whether it is lending, whether it is fundraising, so we work in different areas with different startups to increase the overall functionality that is available to end users.
Okay. Do you work also with local businesses, like maybe banks, loan, or shops? I don't know who.
So currently, again, we are more focusing on startup and entrepreneur and entrepreneurship programs, right? So we're not working with institutions when we're talking about like local institutions, right? But that is definitely on the list. So as you know, Humaniq is a white label company, so we want to operate legally. And that is why we obviously have legal opinion and we have coordination with the governments where we work. So that is why right now, wallet, right? So crypto wallet are only available in 5 African countries. So all other services are available globally, but then right now, the unknown status of tokens and crypto overall limits us a bit in terms of what countries and where we can operate.
Okay. Yeah, talking about the company, so where today Humaniq is incorporated, and do you need a special license like a e-money license or something like that to operate?
So right now, Humaniq headquarters is in London, UK.
Okay.
We have also a legal part that is based in Luxembourg, right? Now, in terms of the e-money license or any electronic, let's call it institutional licenses, currently we do not require them, as we do not operate, and then we do not provide actually financial services, even those countries where we're located. So all of the financial services that are happening are or will be going through the partners that are actually in position of having those licenses.
Okay, understand well now. In terms of roadmap, so the app is there, the ecosystem is there, you are looking to expand with startup, but can you tell a bit more about the roadmap?
Sure. So currently we are majorly focusing on two, let's go this way, two functionality trees. So what it means. So number one is that we are working on our Humaniq chatbot. We're trying to make it a smarter assistant that will be able not just to onboard the users that we already have, but it would also be able to guide and teach and learn the users that we are having. So we're working on creating, again, an NLP process chatbot. So for our users, that is one set of functionality that is out there in terms of what kind of information it supports, what languages it supports. So that is a part of the chatting system that I've just mentioned that we're working on. And then the second one is we're talking about crypto wallet side. Now, in terms of different cash in, cash out issues, right? In terms of different problems. So what startups we accept, what shops, what local shops do accept Humaniq. So that is an ongoing process in terms of consideration, reconsideration, partnerships, different joint programs, right? So that is another set of let's call it this way, technical, not difficulties, right, but technical roadmap that we have out there. So to finalize it, we would have two streams. So number one is expanding the places and functionality of HMQ token, right? So where you can use it and how you can use it. And then number two is making Humaniq, a simpler place for existing customers with helping them to learn more about crypto, to have them to learn more about what they can do with their money, how they can use it, right? And then obviously we're talking about different online courses and different onboarding courses as well.
Okay, and this will be also, will you expand also in Europe, or it's not in the map for now?
Currently, we're focusing on Africa.
Okay.
So as I've mentioned, 2 billion unbanked people, that's an insane number. So that is why we're trying to go, step by step, and then we're trying to scale horizontally. So right now we're focusing on Africa solely.
Okay, it's a lot of work already.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit more about the other people in the team?
Sure. So right now there are more than 80 people working full time on the project. So those 80 people are located in more than 19 countries. So we have guys from the US, from Canada. We obviously have people working from our headquarters office in London, UK. We have development team all across Europe, up to even Ukraine, Belarus. We're talking about Tatarstan. We're also talking about the developer working from China and Thailand. So it's a global, distributed, and then united team in terms of pretty much our team represents the core beliefs that we have, and then there's the diversity, right? So there are more, as I mentioned, there's more than 80 people, and then we're all working in different areas. So there's a product team, there's obviously legal team, there's marketing team, there's customer development team, in order to actually identify those true needs that our users have. We always have to be very close to them. So that is why there are constant projects, there's constant different tours and startups, there's constant events that are going on and happening, and our team is managing all of that.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for all these questions and this interview. If you want to add something, you are free to go.
Well, thanks a lot, Daniel. It's actually, an interesting opportunity to, not just to share an idea about our startup and then what we're doing, but I believe it's also an idea and it's also a chance to actually talk about, bigger, I wouldn't call them issues, right? But I would say bigger tasks that we all have, as a humanity itself. So especially, in 21st century, we're all talking about our nationalities, about our countries, about our leaders, and then all of those conversations, they tend us to kind of like lean against the actual problems that we all have. So to me, today was an opportunity to speak, and then whenever I was talking about Humaniq, I was actually representing this global idea, financial inclusion, and it's not only financial. And here we're also talking about global inclusion. So I'm glad that you got interested in terms of broadcasting this major idea, right? And then obviously, if there's anyone who wants to, help us or help someone else, on this way of creating this inclusion, I'm more than happy and welcome to, talk about that and speak about that, because overall, the task that we're trying to accomplish is it's enormous. It's a huge one. And then the only way to solve it, right, is to work together.
Yeah, you're right. It's a big problem. I hope Humaniq will arrive to reduce and to have much less unbanked people and people who, from your solution, can maybe create business or live the lives they want to have. So,
absolutely. Yeah. As you were actually very, very specific in terms of how would you define Humaniq, and I totally agree with you, on this thing. Humaniq is a platform for opportunities, right? So Humaniq is all about creating those opportunities and being able to connect the people who are actually seeking for those opportunities, right? So Humaniq is not about solving the poorness or solving, distributing global wealth. Humaniq is all about creating, right, an access for those opportunities. So for those people who don't have that access, they should get it, right? So if you're not seeking for an opportunity, well, Humaniq won't be able to help you. So in here, the key word is an opportunity, right? So a chance. And then sometimes that chance, that opportunity can change the world. And that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Okay, well, thank you, Anton, again. And so I hope our viewer has discovered a new, very nice company and project.
Thank you very much, Daniel. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Bye-bye. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.